3, 2, 1, go.
And we're back for the top cut of Wonder God 6. So now it's quite late. The Pokken people have finished, and now we are moving on to the first match of our top 4, which is Zach Kelly versus Daanvir Singh.
I think we've seen Daanvir earlier on in the day piloting his really interesting team with the Registeel with both Amnesia and Iron Defense to set up for an end game with Body Press. And Zach Kelly playing something a bit more standard with the Incineroar and the Rillaboom and the Tapu Fini and the Porygon 2, but also with the Nidoking and the Zapdos, which we didn't really get to see when he played on stream, but maybe we'll get to see it this time.
I'm actually very curious about what the Nidoking is supposed to do, because Zapdos, we've seen that it has Hurricane, we've seen that it's a good check to what we call Urshifu, Rillaboom, and Incineroar. But yeah, I'm not sure what Nidoking is supposed to be doing. Nidoking in previous formats has been a very powerful special attacker with the Sheer Force ability and Life Orb. And we see the players actually moving into team preview right now. And yeah, I think that Registeel is very obviously one of Daanvir's game plans. And we see that Daanvir has a pretty, balanced team composition. But in a more offensive way at the same time, because he has endgames that he can play towards. Whereas Zach, I'm not exactly sure what Zach's endgame to be sure.
I think on Zach's end, we see maybe something a bit more generic good stuffs, like just solid individual Pokemon that just try to work together with each other. But one thing I'm seeing on Zach's team that I think is missing is that I don't really see any strong source of damage to really put this Registeel behind.
I would say the Nidoking. And we see right now that Zach does lead straight away with the Nidoking. While Daanvir goes for the Porygon and Spectre. Now we know that the Spectre tends to be a bit more of a support variant in this format. So Daanvir is playing it quite safe right now.
For sure, I think something that we saw very commonly used by Daanvir is to use the Will-O-Wisp and the Snarl from the Spectre to soften up the damage that the opponent can deal, so that Registeel can come in safely and set up for a solid endgame. So Porygon 2 also can set up Trick Room and also recover and just be a general nuisance. And Zach, knowing that because his Nidoking is meant to be saved for the Registeel, switches it out here into the
Tapu Fini. And Tapu Fini will also stop the burn that might possibly go into Rillaboom, even if he's giving up his grassy terrain. We do see the Snarl coming out. Tapu Fini avoiding it. That's
the big avoid, right? Yeah. Tapu Fini would, already doesn't deal too much damage naturally, so getting to keep its full special attack stat is going to be good here. Knockoff going to immediately remove the Eevio Light from the Porygon 2, going to soften up a lot of damage, but Porygon retaliates with the Ice Beam. That was a decent amount of damage as well, bringing Rillaboom under half.
And without the grassy terrain, Rillaboom is no longer recovering health. And Tapu Fini, Spectre, I think it was a really good turn for Daanvir because he took basically almost no damage, while Rillaboom has already taken like 50% off.
For sure, and Zach is still missing that offensive presence that he needs to have, right? He needs to get these two Pokemon off the board, force the Registeel to show its face basically before Daanvir. But yeah, so that Nidoking can pin it down.
We do see the Tapu Fini going back in and Nidoking coming out. But this time, I think that this kind of leaves... Spectre does go for the Shadow Ball instead of going for a Snarl again.
But that is going to go into the Nidoking, going to deal a lot of damage. Yeah. Rillaboom U-turning out as well. I think maybe it was a prediction for the Thunderbolt into the Tapu Fini slot, just trying to get the Nidoking in back for free, but Nidoking unfortunately eating a chunk of damage as a result.
I'm not sure whether the Thunderbolt because I'm not sure whether the Porygon would prioritize taking out the Tapu Fini if you can just keep snarling it, because in the end, as long as the Pokemon aren't doing any damage to Daanvir's side of the field, Daanvir can bring in Registeel, can set it up very easily. So Zach's position right now is to make sure that he can maintain some sort of offensive presence and take out Daanvir's Pokemon, while Daanvir is trying to neuter the offensive presence on Zach's field so that he can actually bring Registeel in quite safely.
And one fantastic way to neuter that offensive presence is to just take damage from the opposing damage dealers. So Nidoking now with half HP is forced to protect in order to preserve itself. Tapu Fini is going to go for this Moonblast, should actually targeting on the Porygon.
But
that's not going to KO it. Yeah, and Thunderbolt is going to go into the Tapu Fini. So Porygon, is going to do quite a bit of damage through that.
Did we see
Feeny.
what Porygon's download increased?
Shouldn't be special attack given that damage done to Tapu Fini. Yeah, so for some reason Daanvir seems to be prioritizing taking on the Fini here. Maybe wary of the, I don't know, muddy water accuracy drops.
Yeah,
Not too sure what his prioritization here is. But Nidoking is going to switch back out. Once again, pinned down by the Shadow Ball from the Spectre, is going to go back into the Rillaboom.
But at this point, it's like Spectre is the one that's sort of controlling the field, and Zach has not been able to deal any damage on it at all.
Exactly, and another Shadow Ball comes out. 3 damage once again from the Spectre is going to bring the Rillaboom down to the red zone. Moonblast should pick up the KO.
It takes it out. So at least the threat of Trick Room is no longer in the field.
But this is a pretty good time for Registeel to come in and start and nab a free boost. There's no offensive presence from Zach's end to really take advantage of a Registeel switch in, unless the Rillaboom can fake out, I guess, and switch in.
Can fake out, and Tapu Fini could start setting up Calm Minds. There is that, but at the same time, yeah, Snarl from the Spectre is still there.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty good spot for the Registeel to come in, actually.
Yeah, it kind of forces Zach to make a 50-50 choice. He either goes for the Spectre to get rid of the... Oh, he goes for the Incineroar instead. I guess that is a safer play because you can fake out... If they know their speed tiers, he could just fake out the Rillaboom and then KO it with Shadow Ball from the Spectre and then get the Grenade boost as well.
That is true. So Daanvir is really holding his win condition till the last moment here. And yeah, obviously, really good switch in, knowing that Zach exerts that fake out pressure with his own Rillaboom, brings in his Incineroar, not only exerting his own fake out pressure, but also dropping the attack of the opposing Rillaboom here.
And well, Spectre doesn't get hit by fake out, so Spectre is pretty free to attack here. We do see the Rillaboom retreat for Zapdos,
revealing the final Pokemon on Zach's side. Tapu Fini going for the Protect as well, trying to cover all his bases here, not trying to not eat too much damage, but he's already eaten quite a bit this game.
Yeah, fake out going into Tapu Fini, that's kind of a dead turn. Spectre does go straight for the Shadow Ball. Yeah.
Ooh, doesn't deal too much damage, but still a good chunk.
Yeah, it's a good chunk.
Yeah.
That is a really good chunk. And it feels like Zach is so busy trying to preserve his Pokemon to fight the Registeel in the back that he's just letting Spectre take a lot of free damage on his Pokemon.
And not dealing damage on his own as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he did take out the Porygon, but, you know. And we do see the Snarl Avoid again on the Tapu Fini. That Tapu Fini is really...
Yeah, it does not want to get snarled. It's had enough. It's probably been snarled like 10 billion times today already. It's had enough. Zapdos gonna roost and heal back up.
What does the Incineroar do? Oh, we do see the Calm Mind from Tapu Fini, bringing up the special defense and returning its special attack to neutral.
Never got hit by a snarl
Oh yeah,
at
it
all.
did get
So
hit. Yeah.
sitting at a pretty happy spot. Oh, double snarl! Tapu Fini finally gets hit by a snarl.
Neutral.
Back to neutral.
Yeah, and Zapdos is now at -2 special attack, and Spectre is still sitting pretty...
Yeah, so we kind of see Daanvir really indexing very heavily into this Registeel game plan, having 2 snarls on his team to try to make up for the inability to intimidate, to drop physical attack, just to ensure that he can set up his Registeel whenever he wants to.
It kind of makes me wonder whether the Incineroar is finally going to parting shot and bring in the Registeel. We do see the taunt from the Spectre, thereby blocking any further Calm Minds from the Tapu Fini.
Hurricane, Blind Hurricane misses the Spectre, and Muddy Water is going to come out.
It should do quite a bit to the Incineroar. But yeah.
Actually, not that much, yeah.
I mean, Incineroar.
Yeah, but no accuracy drops, importantly, as Incineroar gets another snarl off. Fini now at -2. Zapdos at -3. Sorry. Fini at -1. Zapdos at -2. 3. Yes, I'm hit by 3. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, even Hurricane at this is not going to do it.
Yeah, it's not even worth the 70% risk anymore.
I kind of feel like because Zach has not been able to take out the Spectre, it's very free for Incineroar to parting shot at any time and bring in the Registeel and start setting up.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zach has not brought his own Incineroar, so he doesn't have that Dark type attack to threaten the Spectre on Daanvir's side of the board.
And as long as Spectre can, and we know that 3 of Zach's Pokemon are special attacks.
Yes, exactly.
So, and the Rillaboom is already pretty low. And as long as Incineroar is alive, it can always come back in later and intimidate the Rillaboom. Hurricane misses, Muddy Water.
Muddy Water also misses the Incineroar. Zach's Pokemon getting a bit tired from a long day of work here, not finding its mark.
But the Muddy Water does drop the accuracy on the Spectre. There that's coming up from the Incineroar. Daanvir trying to get some damage off. And Spectre...
But yeah, all these little trades are just in Daanvir's advantage.
Yeah.
Like, he
still has the HP.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sure, he has lost Porygon, but he still has Spectre in a pretty good health. Incineroar is kind of, how you say, it's not the most important Pokemon here anymore. I mean, sure, there's a Rillaboom, but Spectre seems to be in a pretty good health, and Registeel should be able to take out Rillaboom at the health it's currently at.
Yeah, Zapdos, Nidoking, and Rillaboom, importantly, all at very low health as well. So it might look like Zach has the Pokemon lead here, but things can very quickly turn south as Spectre once again goes for another Shadow Ball. This should be enough to take up the Zapdos as it does. And
Parting shot? It should be a parting shot at this point. And now
importantly, the
Spectre at least
Grenade
gets the
boost.
Grenade boost, so, you know. Muddy Water does connect on both Pokemon. Will it get any more accuracy drops?
Oh, gets on the Incineroar this time.
But I think Parting Shot doesn't. Yes, Parting Shot doesn't
Yeah,
check
that's
for accuracy.
so it will get out and reset its.
It does.
It does check for accuracy. Okay, so well, I guess Incineroar it's just.
Well, at least it resets its accuracy drops here with the parting shot. Pretty good position to just bring in his own Rillaboom, to be honest. But, it is the Urshifu.
So you didn't even break the Registeel.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Oh, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't bring the Registeel or the Rillaboom.
It actually means that Tapu Fini is actually probably in a pretty good position. If
Yeah, actually, yeah. The Moonblast gonna do a lot of damage to the Urshifu if it connects, if it's given the chance to connect. And Fini is still at it's still at full HP. So
I feel like you want to protect your Spectre here because your Spectre does have the Shadow Ball boost. But at the same time, now it's pretty free for Fini to get the Calm Mind up if Zach reads and goes for the Urshifu instead.
yeah, so I'm not sure. It's an interesting choice to bring in the Urshifu here, just given the fact that it's not dealing too much damage, as he is gonna switch back out, which is kind of, pulls back his momentum a bit. Daanvir was really far ahead, but that switch might put things in Zach's favor.
But at the same time, it's like Urshifu is not going to want to fight either Tapu Fini or Rillaboom. We do see the Grassy Light coming out into the Spectre. It's not doing a lot. Shadow Ball does come out. I think it should go straight into the Rillaboom.
I think with that Intimidate boost, the Intimidate drop actually was really important in keeping that Spectre alive.
Yes.
Yeah, so really clutch switch there by Daanvir. Maybe that's why he brought in the Urshifu here, so he could switch in the Incineroar later on.
I do believe that might be the case, but...
boy, from the Muddy Water, that's so unfortunate.
But we do have to remember that the Spectre is at -1 accuracy as well.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That is really unfortunate.
We don't know how that's gonna play out. There is, as long as there's an accuracy drop, there's still a way.
Really unfortunate though. Those two Muddy Water damage hits would have been enough to take out the Spectre, but now Spectre is still sitting at a reasonable health, still outspeeding everything. Yes, it has that accuracy drop, but is still free to fire off that Shadow Ball first.
At the same time, it's like Spectre is kind of getting quite low, and Spectre is probably Daanvir's only counter to the Tapu Fini, or the check. And yeah, we see the Shadow Ball coming into Tapu Fini, it's not even bringing it to half.
Ooh,
Tapu
plus
Fini
2.
Yeah.
Spectre avoids another one! Oh my goodness! What is this horse doing? Is that Muddy Water normal type? Is that why it's not hitting?
And now it's like Spectre. It feels like Spectre is not in a very good position. I kind of feel like it wants to protect, and Incineroar might want a parting shot into Tapu Fini so you can bring Urshifu back in, threaten the Nidoking. But at the same time, it's like it will still go down to probably Spectre going against the Tapu Fini endgame.
Yeah. Oh. It's really tough to try to switch out the Spectre here because you don't want the Urshifu to take free damage as well. Oh, yeah.
And you kind of desperately need the damage on the...
Oh, drop comes in, the Earth Power is going to connect with the
It should be able to take out the Spectre. There we go. And finally...
should see whether the Nidoking is a Life Orb.
I mean, it's probably Life Orb, but it's Sheer Force. Life Orb, you know?
Yeah.
So, Muddy Water does come out, does connect. It should pick out... it still doesn't pick out Incineroar. But
accuracy drop, no accuracy drop, parting shot. Is gonna connect once again on the Fini.
Yes.
Switch out, gonna get another refresh to fake out. Importantly, the Intimidate not very important.
I think what's interesting here is that Incineroar is going to come in, it's going to fake out. Urshifu is going to Surging Strike the Nidoking. Nidoking can't do anything about that. The Tapu Fini, more importantly, one has the type advantage versus Incineroar and Urshifu. taking a lot of parting shots, a lot of snarls throughout the whole battle. I think its special attack is probably not, even though it deals super effective damage both to Incineroar and the Urshifu, I don't think it's gonna do a lot.
Yeah, although we do have, it's we have to take into account the Moonblast has a significantly higher base power as well. But I'm not sure whether the Urshifu can beat the Feeny one-on-one if the Incineroar goes down this turn.
I feel like Surging Strikes. No, Incineroar is going to switch back in.
Yeah.
And it's going to fake out the Tapu Fini.
Right.
Urshifu will go straight for the Nidoking, take that out of contention. And then it will be Incineroar and Urshifu versus Tapu Fini.
Right, but Feeny can just easily take out the Incineroar but then Incineroar has no.
But then Urshifu will still manage to get at least one off on the Tapu Fini.
Yeah, I think it depends on how much damage this Urshifu can to the Feeny.
Yeah. So Incineroar comes in.
Intimidate not relevant at this point in the game.
And we do know that it's like only 2 minutes left on timer, so it might come down to health as well.
Ooh.
So, I mean, Urshifu is still on full health.
Yeah, it's not full health, but it's also not the bulkiest Pokemon around. Definitely will not like to eat a Moonblast from this
Feeny. You fake out your Surging Strikes on Nidoking, you protect your Urshifu. And
have we seen Nidoking protect?
It doesn't matter because Urshifu's ability will allow it to go through protect. So you fake out the Feeny, you take out the Nidoking, you protect the next turn, and you hope the game ends there because it's only 60 seconds left on timer.
Yeah.
So I think that Daanvir has pretty much sealed it up without even needing to use Registeel.
Yeah, I think that's what we saw him on stream as well in the first set, where he doesn't bring the Registeel on the first game, and he tries to like set up a position over the course of a best of 3 to make a good opportunity for the Registeel to be set up.
Basically conditioning his opponent, right?
Yeah, using team preview. So that's like a really interesting aspect of best of 3 in VGC.
Yeah. And well, the game's probably gonna end at the end of this turn. Urshifu can probably protect anyways. Oh.
Yeah, there's one more turn.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7.
I'm pretty sure the attack doesn't play out, right?
The
attack doesn't play out, so the game should just end here.
And Daanvir
unless Daanvir presses an attack right now, and he doesn't. So yep.
And you still have to enter a command. Okay, well. Yeah, I guess now Zach has to rethink his strategy because he has probably overcommitted to the idea of the Registeel being in the back, but at the same time it's like ignoring the Spectre the whole time allowed Spectre to kind of snowball. So can't exactly ignore anything on Daanvir's side of the field. He needs to at least keep getting damage.
Yeah, damage is really important. So yeah, I do like the Nidoking, but it's just a tad bit too slow. It just gets pressured way too hard, and I think the big thing was when it was switched in and took way too much damage on the switch.
I think you kind of want to keep your Nidoking alive as much as possible because your Nidoking is frail. It's a very powerful Pokemon, but it's very frail. And I think sure there's bulk on Zach's team with the Zapdos, with the Tapu Fini, but at the same time it's like they aren't able to actually push any damage onto the important Pokemon, which is like Bactria. Really, yeah. The thing is, if he concentrated on the Spectre, then he will be ignoring the Porygon. So that's also another thing that Zach has to take into account. It kind of feels like he just doesn't have enough power to just blow through.
Yeah, I think the largest damage dealers on his team is that Nidoking, right? And it's not, it's just that little bit too slow.
And I mean, you could say Tapu Fini, but the Carmine could be an endgame. But the problem is Spectre is a ghost type. You can't fake it out. And as long as you can't figure out, it can just keep stalling the Tapu Fini. So there is that to consider as well. I'm actually wondering whether he could bring the Porygon, but Spectre can't actually touch Porygon apart from Stealth.
Yes, but then again, you're still snarling a Porygon.
But sometimes Porygon might have foul play.
Maybe. Have we seen it? I'm not sure. From Zach's side.
Yeah, okay, we haven't seen it. Yeah, so I mean, pre-Spikemuth, the Porygons were all running like foul play.
Makes sense.
Okay, so you're told that the Porygon does not have foul play. We do know that Rillaboom. I think I've seen the Rillaboom have used knockoff.
The Rillaboom does have knockoff, yes.
So I mean, there is that option as well. But it really becomes a question of what for Zach picks and what for Daanvir picks. because depending on the 4 Pokemon, the entire game plan changes.
Exactly. I think, you know, again, like you said, the way Zach played out the game, he was clearly expecting the Registeel in the back, and then Daanvir showed he didn't have it at all. Instead having the Urshifu instead, which was, you know, feeling a lot more offensive pressure. Not that it had to do anything at the end.
We do see a bit more of a scouting lead from Zach here with Rillaboom and Incineroar. Daanvir reveals Incineroar and Porygon. Trick Room always on the field now. 3 fake outs. Parting shots, U-turns. I mean, that could be a knockoff and then a double into Porygon, but I'm not sure whether that would be enough to take it out.
Yeah, importantly, we see that
the
speed tiers.
Yeah.
So with Grassy Glide, the Grassy Terrain went up first, and then it was Zach's Incineroar, then followed by Daanvir's Incineroar, and finally download from the Porygon, picking up the special attack boost. So importantly, that's a Porygon going to do quite a bit of damage, especially to that Rillaboom with the Ice Beam. So going to switch out, bring in the Feeny here. Just try to soak him on Ice Beam, but something tells me that Porygon may not be going for an offensive option this turn.
It could have, it could have. I don't think that he will go for a Trick Room right off. Yes, so the Porygon does switch off. Urshifu does come in, probably sensing that Rillaboom does not want to fight the Porygon. That I think that was quite a nice read. And Zach playing it safe, going for the parting shot, getting the drop. So yeah, that also would have neutered the Porygon's special attack increase. Now Rillaboom can probably come back in and threaten with more fake outs again. And more importantly, it'll also be able to threaten the Urshifu. But
of course, Daanvir's Incineroar has yet to move, so for all we know, he could have gone for his own parting shot to bring in his own Rillaboom as well. So we might see a complete different...
But we've seen Incineroar, Porygon, and Urshifu. If Reggie steals the last one in the back, then... it wouldn't be the Rillaboom. So we'll see what Daanvir chooses to bring in on the field. I have a feeling it's probably going to be the Porygon.
Yeah, I guess the Porygon would be a pretty good
you bring
spot
in the
to come in.
Porygon. You bring in the Porygon, and then you just switch in back your Incineroar to intimidate the Rillaboom.
Yep, exactly. And that seems to be what Daanvir is going for. Porygon got to pick up another special attack boost. Now can threaten both the Feeny and the Rillaboom actually with a combination of Thunderbolt and Ice Beam.
Yeah. But at the same time, the Rillaboom still has fake out, so there is always that. It can always fake out the Porygon, which it does. And does Feeny go for the Calm Mind?
Oh, Urshifu has U-turn as well.
Is
so
that after Urshifu?
Another pivoting mechanism that Daanvir has on his team to get out. And this is another way you can bring in Incineroar. But does he want to though in the face of a
Yes,
Feeny?
he does. I think because remember the Incineroar does have Snarl.
It does have Snarl, true, but
And
it will...
It has fake out next turn. There's nothing stopping Daanvir from going from fake out Trick Room the next turn, and after that he can just Snarl.
Zach making use of the drop of offensive pressure from Daanvir's side to pick up a free Calm Mind as well on the Feeny.
It kind of feels like they're just kind of scouting each other early game, trying to see who flinches most at this point. I did not mean that in the literal way with the fake outs, but you know. So it kind of feels like Daanvir has the opening to just fake out and Trick Room, and then he can go on the offense next. But we'll see what Zach chooses to counter that with. So Rillaboom does withdraw, and Incineroar comes in. So yes, plenty of fake outs.
Yes. But unfortunately, we've noticed that Daanvir's Pokemon are generally a bit slower, probably because he does have that Trick Room launcher, but Zach also has a Porygon too, but you know. So now Feeny going for the Protect, the obvious fake out target, but instead we're going to go straight for the Flare Blitz actually into what was the Rillaboom. Not too much damage into the Incineroar. Importantly, Daanvir didn't choose to go for a switching option.
Yep.
So now this Incineroar is stuck in on the first turn of Trick Room with a -1.
At the same time, it's like, it doesn't really matter because I think the Incineroar has been revealed to be the slowest thing on the field compared to Zach's 2 mons.
Yeah.
So it can just parting shot the Feeny, and Zach's Feeny will be back to just like spamming Muddy Water and hoping for an accuracy drop. So
it's a bit unfortunate actually that Daanvir's Incineroar is going to move first here because then it means that he's going to eat free damage basically.
He doesn't even bother with it, he just goes straight to the Registeel. You do see the Zach's Incineroar go for the fake out of the Porygon. What does Tapu Fini do? Tapu Fini goes for the second
Calm Mind. Oh, Zach says whatever you can do, I can do first. Getting those 2 Calm Mind boosts before Registeel even hits the field. I mean, I think Daanvir clearly trying to maneuver in a position where he can switch in Incineroar back into the next turn, but now with a +2 special attack and with no snarls on the board as well. Zach's Muddy Waters might start to hurt a little bit.
At the same time, Reggie still does have amnesia.
It would probably amnesia first before eating the first one.
So Porygon does go back in. I think the Incineroar will come back in here. Yes. So
definitely needs to stop super effective Flare Blitz from going into the Registeel, especially if he's gonna commit to the amnesia this turn.
yes. So we'll see what the Incineroar on Zach's side chooses to do. Will it go for the attack? We do see the
Go
Iron
for the
Defense.
Iron Defense.
One thing about Registeel is that it does have the clear body ability, so Muddy Water is not going to drop its accuracy.
Yeah,
for
but a
one.
+2 Muddy Water is still gonna be really irritating to deal with.
Zach does not want to deal with that Registeel. Go straight for the Flare Blitz. Does
No burn
water.
under the grassy terrain as Muddy Water does connect. Let's see how much this +2 does. Registeel. Oh, actually, no! What in the
Yeah,
world? It's so.
It was I think like, yeah, we did get hit by a parting shot, so it's not exactly a +2
Not
special
+2,
attack.
yeah.
So.
We're still gonna heal up a bunch of health as well with the leftovers and the grassy terrain.
Yeah, and let's not forget that, you know, Tapu Fini is not the most offensive Pokemon.
It really isn't. Yeah.
It's good for slow endgames, but at the same time, it's like when your slow endgame is fighting Registeel, it's not exactly the best thing, especially one with amnesia. It kind of feels like Incineroar is probably Zach's way out of this somehow, but no, Body Press is coming
White
out.
Press coming straight out. Defense. Oh, he knows his damage calcs with that one Iron Defense boost is enough to pick up.
And the parting shot from Daanvir's in. Oh!
Hey, the game confirming that indeed parting shot does check for accuracy as the Muddy Water does pick up the KO on the Incineroar. Incineroar is gonna switch out in this case, but in a fainted state. Yeah.
I mean, that kind of might be good because that means that, you know, the intimidating, the parting shots are the snarls, they are no longer going to be a problem, but you know, Porygon is back here and now, and Zach now sends out his Zapdos.
Ooh, Zapdos actually really interesting. You know, it resists the body press as well as any steel type coverage from the Registeel.
Yeah.
And sometimes carries fire moves.
Yeah.
No, we've seen Roost, Hurricane, Electric move, and maybe something else. So probably not. Yeah.
No, I mean, there's a possibility that it does have a fire move, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think its damage is going to be enough to take out the Registeel. We do see the Ice Beam for Porygon. Luckily, the download was on the attack side, but it still does a lot.
Does so much
It still does
damage.
so much. Moonblast coming out from Tapu Fini, going into the Porygon, trying to lower the special attack, maybe?
Yeah, if Zapdos goes for a Thunderbolt, it's gonna definitely go into not targeting down this Registeel at all.
I think what Zach's wanting to do is to prevent the Trick Room from coming back up again. So, as you can see, the Twisted Dimensions have returned to normal, so another Moonblast plus Thunderbolt will take out the Porygon at this range.
But at the same time, this just means Registeel is getting free boosts turn after turn.
Yes, but another way that Zach could play around this is to just wait out the game. As we can see, the game can go to timer, and as long as his Mons are alive, more Mons are alive compared to just one Registeel, he might still be able to win.
Ooh, gets the paralysis on the Porygon too as well, but Porygon might not be along for much longer as the Moonblast, not risking the Muddy Water accuracy drop, missed chance, and it's gonna take out the Porygon too before the Trick Room can go up. But another Iron Defense gonna further increase the power of this body press.
I don't think that's a good thing to happen. It's like, even though these two Mons resist Body Press,
At some point, it's gonna do enough damage.
And now we have to deal with the Urshifu. We saw the U-turn, so that's a possibility that is a Scarf Pokemon. On one hand, maybe the Zapdos could switch out because I don't think it wants to take a Switching Strikes. Rillaboom will probably take it much easier.
Definitely, and Fini definitely has a much easier time dealing with this Urshifu.
If it's Scarf, yes.
Yeah.
So, well, we'll just have to see how because if Fini does go for the Urshifu right now, it just becomes a 3v1 versus Registeel. In which case, the end game for Zach is that he has to outlast the timer while keeping all his Mons alive compared to the
He
Registeel.
does have the option of Roost with the Zapdos, but it does Roost the flying type.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Oh, Urshifu shows the Protect, so not Scarf.
No, it's not Scarf. We do see the Zapdos going for the Heat Wave.
So it does have the Fire option. Let's see. It does connect.
Even if
I mean,
if it
with
burns,
amnesia,
if it
no burn, Moonblast gonna go into the protect as well. But free damage from Zach for this turn. Unless the body press is gonna how much damage? +4. Still not enough to pick up the KO.
But okay, so the Urshifu is protect. It has surging strikes. It has U-turn.
So probably close combat.
If that's the case, it doesn't have Aqua Jet to pick out the Zapdos. So Zapdos is still able to probably fire off another attack here.
The question is, who doesn't want to target down? I think at this point, you can, with the Registeel at its current health, you can probably just target down the... Ooh, but he does go for the Heat Wave instead.
I guess he's hoping for the burn on the Registeel.
That is true. That would be a big...
If you get the burn, yeah. Okay, so the close combat does come in, trying to catch the Rillaboom on the switch, I suppose. That goes down. And I would think that the Moonblast would be enough to pick up Urshifu at this health.
With the minus defenses,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, we don't know with all the, Okay, and
Nah. Wasn't even close.
yeah, let's go down. So now it becomes...
Well, we do have to 2v1, but if we get the third amnesia boost, so finally up to +6. Zach really hoping for a crit here.
Well, he's like I said, he could just be waiting to stall at the time.
Yeah.
So he brings the Rillaboom, he fakes out, he
true.
mines,
Can we bring up the timer, or does that only show up near the end of the game?
It will only show up near the end of the game. So
Get a clue from
yeah. To be fair, the game has been progressing quite fast though. So there's a very high possibility that Registeel is just gonna end this whole game.
That would be a sight to see, definitely. A +6, Registeel just slapping a Pokemon with his body.
The alternative is somebody Tapu Fini gets to +6 and then crits.
Oh, could happen.
So I think the next play here is to fake out the Registeel and Carmine.
Well, Zach definitely playing to the timer. You can see he excused the entire time that he was allotted to bring out his Rillaboom. So he's definitely aware of that win condition and trying to play towards it. The question is there enough time for him to get there?
I think that was something that Zach should have considered from the very start, because it's like his team just doesn't have enough damage output to actually stop the Registeel once it gets going.
But at the same time, he has to be aware of the fact that if he runs out of his own time, he also loses, right? So he has to balance running down the clock, but also not spending too much time. Yeah. He needs to max out on his animations. He needs to have his own.
But none of them are shiny. None of them are shiny.
None of them are shiny. Yeah.
So fake out, and I think fake out and Carmine is probably the best play here. And then next turn you go for the Muddy Water and the High Horsepower and hope that something crit. Heck, you could even knock off the Registeel, get rid of that increased recovery.
That is true, and he is not gonna go for that. That fake out is gonna go straight for the.
Ooh, but that's dangerous. That's dangerous. The body press from Registeel should be able to pick up Rillaboom here. Yep. Yeah. I'm not sure that was the right call here. I kind of feel like Registeel actually do more damage to Fini at this point than Fini will ever do to Registeel.
Yeah.
And that fake out would have given Zach one more turn
exactly.
at least get a bit of a boost to close the gap between them.
I think the biggest thing here is how much damage does this body press do to Fini?
I'm gonna guess 33%.
That sounds pretty reasonable. Yeah.
That's my guess. I'm not sure my damage counts. Yeah, so now it comes. Yeah, Zach is definitely trying to run down the timer. I think he's probably going to protect his Tapu Fini.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, so definitely he has enough your time to get to the end of this game.
Yeah, I think he's going to protect his Tapu Fini this turn in order to go and stall out. And then I think for him he just has to keep pressing protect.
Yeah, because at this point he's not really dealing that much damage anyway, and he risks Muddy Water just missing.
Yeah.
So he'd rather just roll the 33% to continuously protect.
I'm not sure though. Would it be? Yeah, I think you should just keep pressing protect.
Yeah, because I think the Fini holds a berry as well. So if it gets hit below a certain threshold, it will recover back up.
But the problem is, what if the certain threshold is recovered by Registeel? Then Registeel wins, So it's...
Yeah, Zach might come to regret not going after that free damage that one turn.
Yeah. Not just a free damage, like just to fake out and calm mind, So that if you do decide to go for the attack, or even just going for fake out and Muddy Water.
Yeah.
Muddy Water is not exactly the most accurate move either. Okay, so 1 minute until this game ends. Will Zach get the protect? Is Zach going to press Muddy Water? So we'll have to get
Yeah, I think you just go for the protect here.
I
You have to try.
Oh,
But he goes for the muddy water instead. Really gonna one-time crit?
No,
Crit, but does do a decent amount. How much does his body press do?
Yeah,
Okay, doesn't do that much actually. Yeah,
so
a little bit over,
That's
maybe
fine.
30%. So he can just protect here to
Yeah,
solve the
yeah,
game.
that's fine.
Back to the drawing board.
Oh man, it kind of feels like Daanvir has everything set up, but he still can't get that win because of that one Tapu Fini.
Fini, yeah, and the grassy terrain as well, healing
Yeah.
up so much damage over time.
Yeah, I guess it kind of means that they have to both reset and rethink their strategies because I think Daanvir brought the Urshifu and Spectre the previous game to sort of like condition to say, please don't bring your counters to Registeel. But at the same time, it's like Zach is still strong. It's still not having a very clear out towards the Registeel, even when it does show up. So that's something.
Yeah, I mean Zach left the Nidoking on the bench this time
Yeah.
around, so he definitely didn't have the damage to deal with
Yeah.
the Registeel. So the question is, does Daanvir reign the Registeel in Game 3? Do you think he doesn't do enough damage without the Spectre? Because the Spectre actually put in a lot of work in
Yeah.
Game 1 with those Shadow Balls.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like I feel that there was definitely some luck going in the Zach's favor. Muddy Water
There were
accuracy
there were quite a few Muddy Water misses as well in
Yes.
Game 1.
It kind of feels like the gap between the two of them is actually really small.
It is very small.
So
yeah.
it really comes down like to which four they pick. It doesn't matter. It's really which four they pick, whether it matches up with the four the other person picked. So that's the kind of game that we have going on here. It's really on about position, about how they manage to get the little chips in here and there. Like in the first game, Spectre managed to overwhelm Zach quite handedly, but it wasn't a very easy battle. So there is that to consider. And if Trick Room comes up again, no, if Nidoking is sitting on the field, then Urshifu would not be. And I think Poison resist fighting.
Yes, it does.
You know, Registeel, it still resists Registeel's body press as well. So Zach, bring out the Rillaboom and Incineroar
Yep,
again.
going with the same lead as Game 2. And we're gonna see the triple fake out lead again with the same lead as Game 2 actually.
Yeah, same lead as Game 2. So we already know the speed tiers.
Unless it, I mean, at this
Unless
point,
it's a speed tie. Unless
there's
it's a speed tie.
no, I think at this point it's pretty safe to say that Zach's Incineroar is faster.
Yeah.
So, I think the previous game we saw a switch like it was almost like 4 switches in total with parting shots included.
Damn.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It
So
was a lot of
Seems very
switches.
complicated.
It was
Yeah.
a lot of switches. I kind of wonder whether they switched what's in the back though. I mean, I kind of feel like Zach's not bringing the Porygon. So he has to bring at least 2 mons that are resistant to body press. The question is which.
I think he definitely brings the Fini, right?
Yeah.
And the question is, does he bring the Zapdos or the Nidoking?
I feel
Yeah.
like Zapdos has always been a more reliable Pokemon in terms of like long games.
Yeah, it's just generally more bulky as well, having a higher base stat total. It just resists a lot more things from Daanvir's side.
Yeah, and it does go after the Urshifu as there's that, and that's after Heat Wave. But yeah, it kind of makes it kind of one. I mean, this is like probably the 6th game they played today. So we do see the fake out onto the Incineroar and a knockoff from the Rillaboom, getting rid of that Eviolite right off. It doesn't want to deal with that Porygon's bulk anymore. Ice Beam from Porygon going straight into Rillaboom. Does it
Ooh,
take
there's a
it?
chance to freeze as well.
Rillaboom takes it quite
Okay.
happily though. Probably
Yeah.
an Assault Vest. More importantly, without the Eviolite, the Porygon is now pretty vulnerable to attacks.
But with 2 physical attackers on Zach's side of the field with the Intimidate drops, Zach needs to probably reposition a bit more before he can start dealing damage.
Yeah, we do know the Rillaboom is the fastest, and we do know it probably has U-turn, so it probably can just get out of here. Porygon deciding to call her retreat, bring in the Rillaboom. If that U-turn on the Rillaboom slot of Flare Blitz, that kind of feels a bit really
yeah.
go into the Rillaboom.
-1 still doesn't deal too much damage,
Yeah.
but it's still free damage.
It's still free
Yeah.
damage, yeah. I kind of feel like Fini is coming in. Oh no!
Oh, it is a Zapdos, showing his hand a bit early, bringing the Zapdos. I guess it does do good damage to both the...
And we see the taunt! Stopping the parting shot!
Oh, yeah. Wait. Huh? Wait, so it is a speed tie. Oh.
No. Zach's Incineroar has always been faster.
Wait, so Zach's... Okay, sorry.
Been the
I'm
faster
very
one.
confused.
It's okay. Yeah, Zach's Incineroar has always been the
Yeah. So Zach's Incineroar taunted
the parting shot. So Daanvir can parting
I think
shot.
I saw the hand come off on the wrong side, so I was like, I thought Daanvir's Incineroar taunted Zach's Incineroar,
Yeah,
so I was very confused for a split second.
So I was like, you can't parting shot. And now Zapdos is on the field. And Zapdos can start doing things. Incineroar switching up, probably bringing back the Porygon. Yeah, I kind of feel like the parting shot from Incineroar is kind of telegraphed here, but I'm not sure whether that's
There is that, but there's also just free damage, right?
Yeah, and we see the Hurricane. Rillaboom is avoiding it. Rillaboom not wanting to stay in here, getting out with a U-turn. Incineroar's probably coming.
Rillaboom nopes out after quickly dodging that Hurricane, not wanting to deal with this anymore. But yeah, Zach Zapdos, you know, not hitting these Hurricanes, not the most accurate move, of course, but hasn't managed to land a single one in this set series so far.
Do we hope that in Scarlet Violet Zapdos actually gets a flying special move? That's, you know, actually good and not... Oh, and the Registeel has turned up. Parting shot!
Luckily going into the Porygon and not the Registeel. If not, he wouldn't be able to switch out either because of the clear body on the Registeel we saw earlier.
Like, Porygon probably could Trick Room now.
Oh, you can bring in the Rillaboom here
Yeah, you could
to fake out and then deal free damage, but that just again it's the same position, right?
Yeah.
If you're dealing with the Porygon, the Registeel is getting free boosts.
Yeah.
But maybe Zach is playing for that endgame win con again, saying that you know what, you can't deal enough damage to my Zapdos
Fini.
and Fini and Rillaboom all together, so I'll just focus down on whatever that is in the non
Yeah, and if
Registeel
Porygon
slot.
wants to switch out, it'll have to go into the Incineroar in order to sponge up both attacks from the Zapdos and the Rillaboom.
And again, that's free damage, right? Porygon doesn't have the Eviolite anymore. It will take a reasonable amount of damage from this Thunderbolt.
Registeel is the one choosing to retreat instead. So if Zach calls this correctly and goes for the fake out on the Porygon and maybe get some damage on the Incineroar, that would...
It's a really good turn. Yeah.
But it depends. Zach's game here is that he needs to start getting damage off. We do see the knockoff coming out on the
Incineroar remove the safety goggles. Interesting.
Heat Wave coming out, but more importantly, the Porygon is free to move this turn. So
And it should slap the Trick Room.
Yes,
Oh no.
Oh no! What did we see? What the download increased?
Should be special.
It should be special. Yeah, considering it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so if it's a special attack, both of these guys do not want to get hit by the ice beam.
Yeah.
And fake out is pressure is there. So Daanvir still in the commanding position, even though all he has on his field is support Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, these hybrid offensive support Pokemon have been the name of the game for such a long time.
Yeah. Incineroar coming back in, trying to sponge in the ice beam or fake out and getting the intimidate. Zapdos is not looking very safe right now.
I mean, technically, Zapdos could go for a roost to try to kill off the damage.
I
Oh,
see.
wow, that
Oh
hurts. That
my.
really. Oh, it's a crit. Yeah.
And the Flare Blitz onto the Zapdos, taking it out.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
He needed that Zapdos to be
Yes,
one of
he
the Pokemon that sponges the hit from the Registeel,
Yeah.
but gets the static.
I kind of wonder. No, now it's like, yeah, I think now the game is kind of swinging into Daanvir's favor because he can pivot. He still has his Incineroar, and I think Zach is kind of forced to bring his Tapu Fini out here.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
needs to start getting damage off because if not, he's not going to close again.
Importantly, this is the first time Daanvir has taken a Pokemon lead in this series. So it's really important. It's really important because so far Zach has been able to play towards this end game of Registeel versus the world and win on timer because he's had the Pokemon lead. But now with Daanvir with the Pokemon lead, he can be the one that tries to stall out Zach's Tapu Fini instead.
Yeah, and Trick Room is still 3 more turns, and then Incineroar is paralyzed. So now it's like.
I mean, it's definitely the fastest, but also it has the chance of not moving at all for the turn.
I guess that's something that Zach can try to hope for. If he can get a free calm mind off, that would be great.
I think one play that Zach has an opening to make here is to try to read a Rillaboom switch in and try to catch it on the switch with Flare Blitz.
I'm not sure whether the Rillaboom will want to switch in. I kind of. Oh, so the Porygon is the one that switches out into the
Registeel. That's definitely the better choice. I think Registeel at this point. It's there comes the first analysis.
Go on to
Incineroar.
Yeah, so he was reading the Rillaboom switch in.
Maybe from off a parting shot or something, but does mean that Feeny gets a free Calm Mind off here.
Free Calm Mind, but the Registeel can get Amnesia, and the Incineroar can go for the parting shot. It kind of feels like.
Yeah, he needs to pick up a KO at some point.
Yeah. And Trick Room is still 2 turns more, so.
It's a bit awkward now, right? Because Incineroar wants to use Parting Shot, but then, so Zach is probably hoping that Incineroar switches out with the Parting Shot and targets down that slot with a combination of moves, Flare Blitz and Moonblast. But if the Incineroar got fully paralyzed, it would have been really, really awkward, which is probably what happened the previous turn. Yeah. But in this case, the Incineroar does manage to switch out successfully into the Porygon, gets the download boost attack this time. Iron Defense.
That's not looking good. We know that at +2 that Registeel can take out Incineroar and probably Rillaboom at the same time.
Incineroar goes for the taunt. Oh!
Will it be enough? Muddy Water coming out.
Oh.
It does hit the Registeel though, so no amnesias. Oh no, that's so little damage though.
Yeah, it's really pathetic damage.
That's so little damage.
Oh man, this is rough. This is really, really rough. Yeah.
I kind of.
Especially without Zapdos now, he's got 3 basically support Pokemon.
Yeah.
The highest damage dealer is the
I
mean, I think it's the Rillaboom, but it can't really deal damage to the Incineroar or the Registeel, right? So I mean, Registeel, I guess he can use high horsepower. Same for the Incineroar.
We do see the body press coming out from the Registeel.
We know this takes it out. Yeah, we know this takes out from the previous game. Yeah, this is rough.
Yeah, I don't know whether Zach can pull this out.
Yeah, the special defense boost here gonna be really helpful as Moonblast does show itself into the Porygon.
It's not gonna do a lot.
Not enough. Even without the Eviolite, barely puts a dent into that. And Porygon 2 can always just recover anyway.
Oh, we haven't seen the Porygon use recover though. Yeah, Twisted Dimensions return to normal. Zach finally gets the speed advantage again, but lost.
Yeah, it's looking tough. The game is slowly slipping out of Zach's hand here. He's just running out of resources, and Daanvir just has too much defenses.
Yeah, so much on his side of the plate. So, I mean, I kind of feel like Tapu Fini is probably your only way out, but at the same time, it's like, how do you deal with it?
No, but at the same time, Daanvir can just target down Tapu Fini's slot, and Zach sees the end game. It's just gonna resign. Daanvir takes the win, moves on to the finals in a really close set. Really interesting team as well, showing that he doesn't need the and repeating the Swiss result as well with that 2-1 win, showing his consistent performance throughout today.
So, I mean,
we're gonna see more Registeel.
And now we'll go on to the next round of top 4.